Hello, beautiful people. This is Elisa Medhus here with Abby Dagnese. Her information's in the description box and will be splashed across in all its glory as a marquee somewhere during this video. And we are going to continue with, I think it's part 2 of Erik's afterlife. And so she's going to be channeling my beloved, beautiful son, Erik. I love you, Erik.
He's loving how you started that off. Like how you said that. He's like, my mom's so corny. I'm just really sorry, everybody.
I know, I know. I've been told that many times before over the decades. All right, this is question 32 out of 79. So we're probably gonna have to break it up. How can we
He's
stay?
talking, you know.
Huh?
You just talked your cough.
Oh yeah. How can we stay in high vibration daily, Erik? This doesn't have to do with, some of these don't have to do with your afterlife, but since you're in the afterlife, you have gained so much knowledge. Is there a foolproof routine we can do to ensure staying in a high vibration all day? Don't get up on the wrong side of the bed.
He's going like this. He's saying, just be happy. And it's actually, I know that sounds so simplistic, but he does this to me. It's a routine he does with me. And I hate it because I feel like so stupid doing it. But like I'll be using my pendulum board, right? And like channeling him. And because he always bugs me and channels with my pendulum board with me. And he'd be like, can you just smile? Just smile. And I'm like, no, I don't want to smile. And he'll be like, smile. And it's weird because like when you smile, it actually really does bring up your vibration.
And
So
it
the
releases
littlest,
endorphins too.
it is the weirdest thing. Like you feel like almost like you're in a horror movie if you're like in a he's showing me somebody with like their hair in front of their face like this going like it looks so creepy.
That is creepy. But
But
yeah,
like
Abraham
really like
Lincoln said
you
people
look
are just as happy as they've made up their minds to be. And sometimes all it takes is, you know what? Look at my life. How awesome is it? Yeah, this is going on, that's going, but fuck it. Put those in the fuck it bucket because so much is going great in my life. Or you can at least find
a
the
piece
things
of
that are
trash,
going.
throwing it in the bucket.
Yeah, right.
But
That-
it's easier said than done because I mean, it just is. You know, everybody has all different kinds of shits going on. He says
Sometimes
some
just
shit
shifting
can
perspective in different things. Yeah.
those shits can mount up. So it's like easy to sit here and be like, oh, just be happy. But it really is the little things like smiling, even if you look like a complete psychopath, like I just showed you,
Right.
because you almost laugh at yourself. And
Yeah.
then you're laughing at yourself because you're like, I mean, honestly, like I'm not trying to use derogative terms here, but I'm repeating what he's saying. And he's like, I know you're going to feel like a total reject or a retard just sitting in your room, just smiling like a psychopath. He's like, what the fuck ever. He's like, you don't think, Erik, he goes, you don't think Jeffrey Dahmer had moments where he just randomly smiled?
And we all want aspire to be him. Yeah.
What?
All right. So
I
that's the
don't
main
care to be
that's
Jeffrey
the main
Dahmer.
thing. Are you able to have sexual like experiences with those still here on Earth?
Are you able to have
This comes after you had mentioned that you had a crush on or were sweet on a particular female viewer. Inquiring minds want to know, she says. Or maybe he says.
So he's saying what you're asking is, do I have sex with you if I have a crush on you?
No, is it possible for you to have sexual like experience with an earthling, with a human?
He's saying, I suppose I could, but I never tried. He's like, that seems like that would
Boundary
be,
thing, probably.
yeah, that would be, but there is beings that do,
Yeah.
is beings that do. And those are boundaries. And those are beings that are not fifth dimensional beings that have completely crossed over to the love and light of God. He
Oh
says,
yeah, right, right.
those are the creepsters.
Yeah, I've heard stories.
Those are the I've heard stories too.
Yeah.
Those are the stuff beings. He says that you experience, and it is frightening, and it is, he says it is titillizing.
Wow, I don't know about that.
However,
Yeah,
it's
but you don't because you have boundaries,
he
etc.
would never do that. He would never have a sexual experience with an earthling, nor would he want to. There's no rise that he would get out of that.
Yeah.
Rise.
Well, I know
Because
you can have sex there by
right.
special merging of energy. We talked about that many times.
Yeah, he's
There,
saying it wouldn't do anything for him other than if he was a lower vibrational being trying to,
higher vibration.
it still has that ego and still has that characteristic
Okay.
of, he's saying having a sex orgasm. So like somebody that's an aggressor, somebody that's a sex addict, somebody
Yeah.
that is fully crossed over into the fifth dimensional beings and above, So if that is your experience, then I would suggest to call, he says,
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Really. All right. Do you hear, Eric, prayer if your name is included? Like if you wanted to focus on a specific person, say one that you, Eric, help on this journey, could you hear their prayer?
He's saying, I cannot just hear that prayer. I can hear all the prayers because we're all one. We're all universal. We all work together. It's good
Like the
to,
party line.
yeah,
Big fat party line.
it's good to call out to the beings that you want to bring in. Specifically, he's using me as an example. I always ask Archangel Michael to be at my head, Archangel Raphael to be at my feet. I wrap a purple bubble of protection to help me sleep. That's like, as soon as that happens for me, I'm out like that. But like, he's saying that it's good to call in, but that doesn't mean they're not there anyway. It's just a he's saying something about it's a reflection of attention. So you're mirroring your intentions. He's saying by bringing in that vibrational being, which is matching your vibrational state, which will help you the most. He says what your thought is, what you think is your thought and you perceive as your thought. Is that your thought? He says, not always.
I know.
I don't know why he just did that high-pitched voice. That was totally him doing this like a high-pitched
Talking to
singing.
falsetto. All right, number 35. I heard from a psychic medium that all souls were locked in this universe, and there's no way we can get out of the universe except source. But I've heard some souls come here from other universes. Can you explain? Are we and you able to travel to multiverses or not?
You're able to travel to multiverses, yes.
So that's wrong. The locked in.
No, you're not locked in.
Yeah.
You're not locked in at all. You can fluctuate. You can be, it's more difficult for the lower vibrational beings to go above their vibrational plane, but they have helpers that come in, he's saying, and they help you. So let's say there's a father that wants to reunite with a son.
Yeah.
And the son is in a higher vibrational plane than the father. There can be a guide assistance that can help that meeting happen. They can still have those interactions and those conversations.
You're talking about both being deceased, both being a spirit. Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Come
Every time you have had here on Earth with us and mediums, be it channeling pranks, are you the same soul as you once were with Elisa in the physical body? Or came here always with a different split soul of yours? I think some words are missing, but I think you get the gist.
Okay, so people. I love it when he says so people.
Mhm.
So people. He says you got your higher self, right? And then you can have yourself here. And then you can split yourself off. So yeah, you can have a soul in India too. And it's maybe on the same timeline, but it's a different dimensional plane. I don't know that Abbyism quite follows that concept. So maybe some of you are on here explain this better than me, but I'm just explaining what he's saying, which is that, yes, you can be here, you can be there, you can be in the same time frame, you can be multidimensional, like in different universes, you can be on a different planet. You're looking at the soul as being this dense ball that can only exist as if something around it is holding it there.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not that at all. You can, if you choose to have that experience. I just sounded like Bashir for a second. If you choose.
Well, I mean, yeah, so really, in essence, the hokey pokey is what it is all about. You put your right foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. So there we go.
He's saying you're still lame doing that, like you always have been.
I do the hokey pokey all the time.
He's showing me actually a map. Like you were trying to get him in a good mood, and you like were grabbing his hands, and you were making him move.
Oh yeah, I did that all the time.
Like, my mom is so lame, but it was making him smile.
Yeah, that was my aim. Is there
That's
any
a mom.
place that you are not allowed or unable to access?
Not allowed is a tough word to use because it's not that you're not allowed. It's more you want to help, you want to train, you want to coincide with other vibrational beings to help them regain their consciousness on the other side of what their true being and essence really is meant to be. So you can be in these lower dimensional planes if you choose. However, he's saying the two are never going to meet. They're never going to quite meet. There's always going to be this energetic barrier, and that energetic barrier is not a creation of something. It's because the frequencies are
You're not quite matching
frequencies.
Yeah, right.
So you can visit, if you so choose, to go to these lower gray, dark areas. However, he says it's usually for a purpose of evolvement for the greater. That's what he's saying. The greater, I'm asking him a question like, the greater of what, Erik? And he's saying, well, the greater of knowledge. He says, sometimes you just want to know what you want to know. And you got to know through experience. And up here, he says, let me tell you, it's a hell of a lot harder to know through experience other than, just you have ways of education up there. You have ways of knowledge. You have ways of experience. It's just not like it is down here. Okay. So you always have, he says, if you want to call it like, I'm hearing like this, just like force field to go up, right? Yeah. It unintentionally, that is just your essence. That is, and these beings, they're intimidated by it because it's a light, it's a bright light, and sometimes they don't see it because that's their stuckness. Like they're dimensional beings. It's like I actually I think like 2 days ago crossed over a being, and I was really surprised to have to do that. Wow. I don't do that often. And he was very he was stubborn. He was very stubborn, and it was really his own stubborn nature. It was his personality, and it wasn't even out of fear. It was out of like, I'm in control and I just don't want to.
How dare you suggest?
Yeah. So then I had to call in the ARC ones. Erik said it's the ARC ones, and escort him out because he would not go. And it was like, I didn't know what to do. I'm sitting there and I'm like, Jesus. So I'm asking now. And Erik actually tried to reason with him. Yeah. And Erik just turned to me and he's like, we got to call in the ARC ones.
Funny. It's like one frequency is oil, one is water. And, it's hard to mix them up.
Erik has the ability.
You can shake it, and you'll have little bubbles of oil in the water, but eventually they just.
Erik has abilities now, like I know that we've channeled that he's an archangel, and he has, and I'm not disagreeing with that, he has abilities that are much higher now vibrationally, that he's able to move things like he couldn't before.
Yeah.
So he's showing me the diploma.
Yeah.
He
He
says,
he
I
moves
got
my chair
tornadoed.
in Norway all the time. It's crazy. Okay.
He's opening it up and he goes, oh, what's that? And he's showing me this magic signature.
What other how many wait, what other planets, if any, have you incarnated on?
Erik?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why would I not be talking to Erik? I'm sorry. He was talking and I was listening to him. It's not just other planets, it's other galaxies and dimensional planes. So he really has no desire to go to, like, you know, if he wants to go to Mars, he'll go to Mars. He says, but I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nothing there
Yeah.
entertaining for him. He likes to go to places that are entertaining.
But has he
So
actually lived a life on other planets or in other galaxies?
yes, yes. There was another galaxy which is layers and layers away. It's very green, and he really enjoyed the environmentalism of it. And the beings there were very traditionally sensed the power of water. You could bend water.
Wow.
Yeah, on this one. That's mad cool. And the power wheels, the power wheels that he could have there.
Yeah.
It was different because it was the mechanisms they use to move their sources of transportation were using crystals again. They were far more advanced.
And that's
Yes.
probably why you eventually incarnated with we together, among other family members, I think, to Atlantis because of the crystals, maybe.
There's all these different crystals on different planets. That what's really cool is that this planet has incorporated a lot of them through meteors
Oh yeah.
and through the building of the Earth itself. I guess he says, if you want to call it the Big Bang Theory, that it's like you get all these tiny reminiscences, this galaxy dust, he's calling it, and then it smashes together, right? And now we have all these crystals here that actually exist on other planes. But the thing is about these crystals, like I'll bring up amethyst, it's far more empowering and far more healing. He says where he's from,
Oh wow. Interesting.
this other planet.
Probably because of the frequency of the planet. Maybe it's higher.
It's pretty 300 light years. I don't know.
Wow. All
It's
right.
far.
How many planets have you traveled to as a spirit?
He says
Traveling, not
first,
incarnating.
he says at first he's showing me this young guy who's like kind of a surfer dude, and he was he was like his tour guide. So he was showing him around all these like really cool planets. He says where he could surf. Did he ever surf?
Yeah, he surfed on the sun, you told me a long time ago.
Yeah, like places he could surf,
Yeah.
places he could ride mountain bikes, places he could,
Love
okay, go
that.
skiing, places in, like, he's showing me the ocean and these fantastic like dolphins that were very luminescent themselves, and these sea creatures that don't exist here but exist on these other planes and dimensions on these planets. So he says, I get it. He says it's a far-reaching concept for you all. But okay, fine. I'll use a southern twang. He says, y'all.
Y'all, yeah.
He says, y'all. He says, but he says sometimes you just gotta cowboy up and just ride it. He says you just go with it, and he just went
Have
with
you
it.
been on like 10 planets? More than 10? How many? Less than
I've been all over. I've been all over. He says
hundreds?
at this point, it's just a random vacation for him to go to certain planet. He actually really lately has been preferring tropical destinations.
Good.
Yeah. He's liking the laying out and just soaking it in with this girl.
Oh, hey, do you go to tropical vacations here on Earth too, or are you talking about other planets only?
He says, he says, why would I go here when these other places
Yeah,
are
really.
more brilliant? Here,
Exactly.
this is a dulled down version of anything that could be explainable that
Why
I
does it cost so much to fly those to those places? All right, how many different types of beings have you known so far? Like, can you
don't
count types or what with
know.
hands or
Uncountable. I mean, uncountable because he's also one of the whole.
yeah,
So he's experiencing other experiences through other people. But he also is Erik. So he is himself, but he's also these past lives
yeah,
have wanted that are pieces of him too, that have wanted to have these experiences. He says, quite literally, it's like you go home. It's like you go home. He says, and my Erik essence, he's been still choosing to spend the time with his family. And
yeah.
he's saying, especially lately, about the last 3 months, he's been extra. He says he's been
Okay.
extra. Uh, he's been trying to communicate more, like communication wise. He's working on hearing him with his your eardrums.
Okay.
Hearing like, so ask your family members like if they'll hear a
Good
random.
one. Well,
Yeah.
Maria heard him shout out to her.
Oh
Maria
no.
did that. So that's cool. Like real
Oh,
recently, a couple of weeks ago, maybe. So,
boom, he says.
bada boom.
He goes, how about that?
How about that? Okay, so what's the most interesting being, or at least one of the most interesting beings you've met? Can you describe them physically, emotionally, in any way?
Did he like country music? Because he said lately Toby Keith.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm talking about really. I mean, what about some being from Pleiades or Andromeda star system or something like that?
I'm asking him to be serious. Like he's very today, he's
Oh,
just
good.
very
Wow.
like so just jokey and like literally pushing me and just like laugh da da.
As I can. On a usual day.
It's like he's ADD and I'm trying to get him back on track and I'm bad enough with that. So
God, me too.
he says, no, really. He says, what's been the most interesting lately is okay, uh he has a fascination with woolly mammoths lately. They're up in heaven, right on the
Cool.
heavenly side, and he's this is so strange. He's
Coming,
like
crushing them.
he says they're very docile. You
Yeah.
know, he can he's showing me like sitting on them. I
That's
feel so
really
weird
smart.
saying
He used to come around and sit on elephants in my mind's eye, but also according to Robert, etc. So that's kind of cool.
he says it's just so cool. The only thing he doesn't like is they're smelly.
Oh,
And I'm like, can't like they're smelly in heaven.
yeah. Yeah.
Why don't they smell like flour?
Oh,
He's like, well, they just couldn't get the smelliness out, I guess.
one of those dogs.
And then he goes, I'll tell God to pour some Tide on him.
Yeah, good. Or game. Everybody likes their smell game. All right. What abilities do you have now as a spirit? I mean, name some of the like the top three cool abilities. I know multitasking, being in one more than one place at one time. Let me see if
Can
I
I tell you a cool prank he did to me the other day?
sure.
Uh, I told you I argue with him as if there's like a point, as if like I'm right and he's wrong or something.
Right.
And he always says to me, his favorite thing to say to me is my way or the highway.
Oh
And so
yeah.
we were having a discussion through my pendulum board, which I usually use when I communicate with him. It's like an e-board, right?
Right.
And he was saying something. He's like, I'm going to prove it. And I was like, go ahead, prove it. And he
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
give me 1 minute. And I said, fine, do something. I got a FaceTime call from this like random, he's saying to say it, black guy,
Okay.
African Americano. There we go.
Okay.
he like FaceTimes me, like, but it was in his pocket. So I didn't recognize the number. And I'm like, who's FaceTiming me? And I'm like, hello, hello. And this guy looks in the camera and he's like, who are you? Holy
Oh my
shit.
God.
And like, and I was like, and it hung up, but literally he goes, give me a minute. And then like,
1 minute. Wow,
and
that's cool.
in 1 minute that happened. And I was like, okay. I'm like, that's the best you got, Eric. I'm like, you can't just like materialize $100,000 from me.
Yeah, really.
You have to have a random dude call me on
Oh,
FaceTime and go,
I
what the
got
fuck?
some C notes. So, what other abilities do you have? What are your favorite abilities that you now have as a spirit that you
It's still
didn't have
pranking
as a human?
people. It's still
Like,
pranking people. Still pranking people in ways because the reason why is it brings up their frequency. It
okay.
brings up their faith-based system. And that's the point of his process with helping the evolvement of humanity is not just, reading something, not just seeing all these words or just seeing the YouTubes, but like having the real life
I
experience. He said
know.
that's where it's
Especially
at.
if you read his book, it tends to like bring on the
He gets
pranks.
giddy. Like it actually, he can feel you
Oh,
getting really excited about these pranks when you actually recognize that it was him. It's like he's like a little
yes.
kid. All yeah. He's just like, and it is like in your book because it's hard. He says it's hard because it's like
It is.
to get you in the right place at the right time. It's about timing, and then and
Oh,
hide it and hope that you're going to choose because you have freedom of will to look the right way. And sometimes you don't, and you totally miss it. And he says, then I get totally pissed off, but I'm not really pissed off.
oh
I'm just
no, you're not
I have
pleased.
to figure this out.
Okay, let's see. Let me make sure I'm dividing things up properly so that we don't like have well, okay. What's your abilities you have achieved? What are you most proud of? Your ability that you're most proud of that you've developed as a spirit.
The ability to utilize the emotional content and the emotional regulation of somebody's mind when they're about to kill themselves.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Can you give me a specific instance without using names?
Okay. I just heard really loudly, don't take the pills.
Oh,
So there was, I'm not supposed to give any information other than,
no.
yeah, other than he briefly made somebody stop and hesitate because they heard him. And so what he did was he did something to their frequency where he pushed it, not just the pill. He didn't push the pills, but he pushed, I don't know, like the air or something. And they could hear him. Okay. They were in a really low vibrational space. When you're in a really low vibrational space, he says, you can't hear shit. You
Yeah.
all hear is yourself, the
So
negative
that's no
self.
wonder you're proud. That's very difficult to do.
Yeah. Yeah. He says, yeah. He says, fuck ma. He says, you have no idea.
But
So what he did was he was able to push that and he was able to have them hear it and they heard it and they stopped.
I wish somebody had done that with you. Well, that's pretty good.
He's saying that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, I know. We've already discussed this over time. Is there such thing as outside of universes? Is there anything outside of different universes?
Oh yeah.
What's it like? Have
Oh
you
yeah. Oh yeah.
been there?
So outside of different universes, he says you have the beyond, the beyond, the beyonds. And
Bed Bath and
one of
Beyond.
my friends has been really pushing this concept, and I was like, I've always been like, I don't know what that is. Have you ever heard of the firmament? Okay,
Familiar.
so I I have a hard time with this because it's like not in my belief system, but Erik is acknowledging this. that beyond the galaxies, beyond the extraterrestrials, beyond the beyonds, there is it's almost like it starts over again. So there's water. There's water.
Oh.
So mathematicians have proof of the existence of infinity.
Okay.
So as you go around, right? Picture the infinity symbol.
Right.
Like this. That's much like the entire existence of all that is all. And then you do have that heavenly mix in there because it's a different dimension, right? But if you're talking as a solid, as in a denseness, there is the existence of a firmament. Am I saying this right? Firmament?
Yeah, I can read it in biblical cosmology. The firmament, it's hard to say, is the vast solid dome created by God during Genesis creation narrative to divide the primal sea into upper and lower portions so that dry land could appear.
He says, yeah, that's a whole thing. But man, I'm a really bad Baptist daughter because I honestly don't remember.
It's weird.
Shows you I wasn't paying attention in church. But yeah, it's actually it exists.
That is so weird. Have you been there? Have you been there?
So he's showing me swimming there with the fishies.
Oh,
But then it's like he comes out, but then he's here. It's almost like it just goes around and around. You know, it's topsy-turvy, upside down, you know, it's such a concept.
it's just not vocabulary for us humans to understand that, I'm sure.
Eric's like, it's a little much for Abby's little mind.
And me. Have you gone to black holes before?
He says, yeah, but they're boring because you just come out. Like you go in and you just you go in and
Even light cannot escape, but air can.
It's like he says it's like going into a dryer. You shut the door and you're around and around and around and around. And it's like where I live in New Hampshire, we have a park called Candy Billy Park.
Yeah.
And there's a ride called the Turkish Twish. So you go in it and it just goes like you know.
I would throw up so fast.
Yeah. So he goes in it and he says it's wicked fun, but honestly, that concept is everywhere because of the whirlpools. So he's bringing up what's the word, Eric? We work with them all the time.
Vortexes?
Portals.
Oh, portals, yeah.
Portals or whirlpools. So you could almost look at those as their own little black holes.
Yeah.
He says you can. He says, "Well, I can get out of them." He says you'd be vacuum sucked and you wouldn't make it.
Yeah. No, we're flesh and blood. No,
we wouldn't make it past.
Each of our little atoms are little vortices too. I understand, but anyway, does it feel weird in a black hole to your energy, like tingly or?
He's saying, it's a little. It can get. It depends on who you're with. Okay, so like if he's with his buddies and they're just like playing around, you know, like and they're just having fun. He's showing me like on like motorbikes, you know, like kind of thing, like
that circus act where they go around and around in this cage on a motorcycle.
Yeah, to us it's like the biggest deal ever, but to him it's just like, yeah, it's just part of the universe. Okay. Like it's far more interesting he's finding it. I mean, at first it was like you have all these ideas about the universe and what it is and like, you know, the planets. And he says, and then you get to the other side and now you're seeing dinosaurs and you're seeing these beautiful tropical locations and these amazing mountain peaks that have the whitest snow that you could ever imagine, that you can do the best boarding on. He's like, and there are the coolest buildings that he can ride a skateboard down and do all these like incredible flips, like Tony Hawk like would die to like even
Oh,
think
he'll
to it.
get a chance. He'll get a
And
chance.
so it's not, you can create whatever you can create up there. So then coming here and embracing what this universe has to offer, it's very mundane.
Okay.
That's why he chooses to spend the time with the family
Yeah.
that he has
There's
here. And
never a dull moment in the Medjug's house. That is so true. Every time we have people like trying to do a documentary, not Paula, but
that's for
other guys, I said, we need a reality TV show on you guys. I said, my husband's like, no. All right, our planets, Milky Way, black hole, star, spaceship, all that is to it in the universe you've seen.
he says yes, but again, boring. And he's going,
Okay. Our reincarnation. So you're not going to write up a travel brochure for this universe, I guess.
what's so interesting? He says, yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's interesting from your perspective. He says, but then from my perspective, look at from my perspective what I get to see. He says, I get to see souls come in and out and reincarnate. I get to see lightning like you wouldn't even believe lightning could look like or be.
Wow.
I get to experience the
So you're
deepest
seeing the lightning on Earth differently, or some lightning there?
lightning there, lightning there. And
Wow.
I see anger different. I see emotions different. I see vibrations different. Everything. He says there's so much to see. There's so much to create here. He says that once you like see all the stuff that you thought you wanted to see on the earthly plane, he says, baby, hold on to your hat.
Yeah.
He says, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
He says, but he's still very much Erik. Like he really enjoys the moments of like just sitting back on a grassy hill, just watching the fireworks.
Yeah.
You know, he enjoys just chilling with his friends. He
That's
says,
awesome.
smoking a fatty.
I bet.
I can still pack a mean bowl.
Oh God, it's funny.
You know,
I still have one of your bowls in my safe, the biometric.
do you really?
Yeah, it was confiscated.
He goes, God damn it.
Our reincarnations, guidance, learning, and schools, all that there is to it for spiritual growth, reincarnation, human experience, guidance from spirit guides, learning, schools, maybe in heaven, etc. Or is that
There's
most?
so much more. It
Yeah.
is unimaginable the reach that you have as a soul and as what you can create. And it's all based on your needs and what you didn't feel like you fulfilled in that lifetime
Yeah.
that you would like to fulfill in the next one, whether it's here, there, or on another planet. Whether it's you want to just kick your feet up and just like not feel the feels for a little bit. I got that. Elise is like, yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
Feel the feels for a little bit. But he's just all into lately. He's just been all into chilling. It's kind of funny because like years ago, I felt like he was all about like going fast and just being like super like engaging.
Yeah.
And now he's just like he's all about educating people.
Yeah.
He's all about he's he's saying I got learned.
Oh, you got schooled, huh? Slow down, boy.
He says I'm very smart, He was very smart in life too. Very smart. He's saying the problem was I was too smart for my own good.
Yeah.
And it made me bored. He says, and I really try and teach the boring how to overcome the mundane, because the structure of your lives are so mundane, and it's thrilling and it's freeing to have that outside mind of adventure. And this is where you get into trouble, is because you think about what is the easy way out. It's not the same concepts about like going to college. He says, even when he was on the earthly plane, he says, it's like you go to college, you get all studious and shit. He says, and the next thing you know, you move on to the next level of whatever degree do. And yeah, he's saying I might have been a little bit of the black sheep. I'm like, Erik, oh, you were. And he goes, yeah, fuck, I was. Ask my mom.
No, you're
He's
not.
saying, that's what I told him. I said, you're
Not
not
black. A little broken, but not black ever.
black sheep. He is saying that he would have been a great teacher. And that is one thing that he looks back on now. And that was a trajectory that could have been for himself that he didn't get to fulfill, was the teaching that he could have done with people, just teens, just like him, the ways he could have structured programs to help the education system.
Wow.
Kind of, he says, because politics is all fucked up now and shit.
I
He
know.
says, but I would have taken it upon myself and I would have absolutely done fucking something there to make it matter. But it starts small and it starts on the person. And he knows that now.
Yeah.
He knew that then. He knew that then. He just like
There was
yelled at me.
enough
You
baggage.
just yelled at me, and then I yelled at you, and everybody's just yelling. So
Oh, maybe Papa. He is a big yeller, not me. When I raised my voice, people were like, "Oh my God, not Mom." All right, why is there a need for life reviews? Are these spirit made? Can you choose not to go through one?
let's use a different word. They're
Okay.
they're intentionally made. And you use made as a word as if there's somebody that put this into production.
Oh yeah, right.
Where we can't all
Like now
accept,
starring. Yeah.
we can't all accept what is just to be is just to be. And it was just to be that we were going to have these experiences. No, you don't have to do your life review. You don't have to. But there's going to come a time, and it's going to happen for every being out there that crosses over, that they are going to be faced with their commitments of their contracts, their commitments to other people with those other people's contracts. He's saying, which will then bring you to your life review. There are upsetting cases where it's like, oh, I'm getting my spirit bumps right now, where it's like, I don't want to see my life. I don't want to deal with it. So many, but at the same time, you become very separated. He's saying from your physical body and what your Abby essence is, Elisa essence, you become very separated and you individualize yourself as this was Abby's lifetime.
I
So
got you.
she had these experiences and let's review them so that way we can evolve and learn and help other people.
And you don't feel judged from what I understand.
He's gonna make a song about that.
You need to.
It sounds like a nice song.
Yeah.
Like a Jimmy Buffett song.
Oh yeah. All right, let's just do one more, and we don't have enough time to do a second one. There's just too many questions. Lots of wonderful questions. And okay, last one. Do ETs, animals, insects, and plants have to go through life reviews or just humans? I bet ETs do. I mean, we're aliens just from Earth.
They're much more in tune with that reality of like okay, we're talking about telepathic communication. We're talking about much more in tune. Yes, they have their own life review. It's just not the human life review.
Wow.
A dog's soul, or like my gypsy and your Bella, their life review, it's their love. They see you and it's like you're just their favorite human ever, and they just literally wait for you to come home. And then it's like, I love you. And then it's like waiting for them to come home. So he says their life review, it wouldn't be so much like a human life review because it's for they already are fulfilled, because their fulfillment in being who they are to you when they come in as your pet, we're talking about pets, is to know that they have that loyalty to you. He says, where cats are assholes. He's really mean to my cat, Sage. You need to talk to him about this.
He used to love Bluebell and Ringo.
He
Ringo would sit on your on your shoulders when you were doing your homeschooling or
Oh, well, see, my cat Sage is like almost 30 pounds. It's very unhealthy. And he just is always like fucking fat cat. Like he literally like will sit here and like play with her and she'll make the weirdest sounds. And like, it just drives me insane. And I have to tell him, I don't know why he bugs me so much. Like I have a lot of friends and family members on the other side, but he just loves harassing my cat Sage and it's annoying. And then he calls her fat all the time. But anyways, okay. I'm done.
oh,
You're
that's
his mom, so I'm telling all.
so ETs or aliens from other planets, other species, do they have contracts like spiritual contracts like we do? And have to balance karma and all that
They
stuff?
have more of a natural born knowing purpose. They have much more of an alignment with who they are, where ours are much more developed by society. Theirs are much more created by
Knowing, inner knowing.
inner knowing, but he's bringing up something about integrity. They have this integrity, like a musical genius. We'll use Mozart, for example.
Okay.
I'm like, are you calling Mozart an ET? He's like, no. But it's an example of these, they come into this life and it's almost like the movie Gattaca. I think it is, right? Have you ever seen Gattaca? Maybe not. I don't
Gotta
know.
put
Maybe
that on my list though.
I can't remember what the movie's called,
Okay.
but I don't think it's Gattaca. Sorry. But they come in and they like have a job and they know what their job is. So if they're
Okay.
going to be a singer or a musician, they're going to come into this life and they're going to be a singer or a musician.
Okay.
Okay. Or they're going to come into this life and they're going to be a welder or a carpenter and they're going to be the best damn welder and best damn carpenter you ever did see, he says. And
There's
then
not so much of learning like we do, lessons.
correct. And then
Okay.
what's interesting as well is that even the planets that have ETs that are not so, we'll say, nice,
Okay.
they also have that as well, where
Okay.
they're brought into knowing, he's using the word soldier, what kind of soldier they're going to be and what their place is
Wow.
in their societal standards and
Is
how
there
they're
any other species that has something similar to human experiences or not?
oh yeah, oh yeah. It
All right,
just
I
was,
guess that'll be it.
he was talking about
Yeah.
at the one he was talking about at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
You and I are so bad at talking over each other all the time. We can't help it. We just like get talking, you and me, and we just, sorry, peeps.
Spanish, Italian, whatever. All right. Well, it's hard though to know when to jump in.
It's
All
hard. Like we
Eric,
just want
Eric, do you have anything else to say? We'll do the next part. So you guys hit the subscribe button and notification bell.
peace. And
All
he
right.
said,
Peace out.
"Mad hell."
All right. Love you guys. Oh, what's happening?
Oh my God.
Eric, did you do that? Did Eric do that? That has never happened to me before. Did he do that?
Right after we did raise mad hell. I hope that recorded. How cool.
Yeah. Wait, what? Right after what?
We went raise mad hell like that, both of
Raised,
us.
and then we're raised. Yeah, rays of light. Oh, that's cool. All right. Love you, Abby. Love you, Eric. I love everyone out there. Bye bye.
Bye.